Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about my favorite techniques for manifesting. And before I start, make sure you hit the like button and let's hop into the video. The first thing I want to address is being the observer rather than being reactive. How you react to situations play a really big role when it comes to your mood and your vibration. When you are too reactive to the things that's going on around you, to things that don't always necessarily involve you, it's very easy for it to affect you too much, and especially when it's something negative. If you allow it to affect your mood and your emotions too much, if you allow yourself to become too reactive to things that happen, it's very easy for these things to bring down your mood and bring down your vibration. And it's not about pretending that things are great when they're not, and it's not about pretending to be happy when you're not feeling great. It's more about taking a step back and observing your thoughts and your patterns and your habits, observing your emotional reactions to things that happen in your daily life. And an important thing to remember when you're doing this is you don't want to take on any kind of judgment about yourself or about your reactions. This is an idea that's brought up a lot in the book, The Power of Now, and I highly recommend you reading that book if you're into law of attraction. But one of the most important ideas from the book is the idea of observing your thoughts rather than allowing them to take on an identity, and rather than identifying with your thoughts. But you don't want to be judgmental of your thoughts or of your thought patterns. Instead of being critical on yourself for having certain thoughts or having certain patterns, you really just want to acknowledge them and then sort of release them. And essentially, you're just not going to worry about these thoughts too much. So when something happens, maybe you have a bad day, maybe something doesn't go your way, instead of becoming very angry or anxious or very agitated and unhappy with the situation, instead of reacting to it in that way, what you're going to do is just take a step back and observe the feelings and thoughts that come up. And this will help you remain more neutral and less reactive, which will help with your mood and your vibration, but it's also going to be beneficial in the sense of analysis that you're going to be able to come up with about yourself, about your thoughts and your patterns. And this is going to be essential for you if you want to control your thoughts and patterns and behaviors and change and manifest the things that you want into your life and change your reality. When you take on an observer role rather than a reactive role, you're able to really take a deep dive into your psyche and really analyze without judgment how you react to things, and that can prompt questions of why. Why do I react this way when things don't go my way? What are the patterns that keep showing up in my life, that keep repeating in my life? And where did that stem from? A lot of people find that when they do this kind of shadow work, when they kind of take a deep dive into their patterns, they'll be able to pinpoint an exact moment, usually from early childhood, where maybe an event happened. Maybe it was slightly traumatic, or maybe it was a little bit scary for a child at the time. Whatever it is, created a sort of pattern. For some people, they like to run away from certain things. For some people, they react negatively. They might lash out. But it tends to create some kind of habit or some kind of pattern that can negatively affect you throughout your adult life. And being able to pinpoint these moments in time and really understand why you're feeling the ways that you're feeling, and why you react the way that you do, and why your thought patterns work the way that they do, is going to be so helpful for you when it comes to changing your thought patterns and changing your behavior, which will ultimately change your reality and bring forward the things that you want to manifest. It's therapeutic in the sense that you're able to actually address and process these things, which will allow you to actually let go and release them. And that way you're not going to continue seeing the patterns over and over again, especially if it's a negative pattern. Some people might attract the wrong kind of people into their life and they see it over and over again. Some people might feel like they attract people who take advantage of them, and they keep seeing that pattern. And it could be that maybe they had a childhood experience that made them take on this people pleaser personality. It made them take on these patterns that continue to attract people who will take advantage of them. So it's going to be really helpful for you once you realize and understand the why. It's going to be so much easier for you to actually address it and make the changes that you need to. The next thing I want to talk about is respect. When you start to do the shadow work And when you start to really think about your thoughts and patterns and why you feel this way, one thing I do recommend is journaling. Some people have a lot of like epiphanies and a lot of discoveries while they're journaling, because when you're writing, sometimes things come out that you weren't even aware was there. Something that can come up a lot is the idea of respect. Self-respect specifically. When you start to realize the thought patterns that you're having and the ways that they're affecting you negatively in your life, you start to realize that there was maybe a lack of self-respect there. Maybe the reason that you were allowing these behaviors to continue, these patterns to continue in your life, maybe you were allowing certain kinds of people to continue to stay in your life, to stay in your orbit, even though they don't necessarily meet the standards of what you want and what you're looking for. A lot of it ties to a sense of self-respect, or a lack there is of it. And again, you don't want to come at it from like a judgmental or like a negative angle, but it's important to recognize these things. I see this so much, not only in my personal life, but I see it in the people around me. Recently, my friend was talking to me about how she had been with a company for a really long time, and she felt that her salary wasn't growing and that they weren't giving her promotions. And we kind of discussed a little bit about that. And at the end of the day, what it comes down to is people will treat you how you allow them to treat you. If it's work, if it's your career, your company is going to pay you as little as they can get away with. And it's so important to sort of stand up for yourself and to recognize when your standards aren't being met, to recognize when you deserve better, and you have to really commit to that and really have the appropriate reactions to that. And you don't have to be crazy or disrespectful or anything like that. But when something isn't good enough for you, it's important to acknowledge that and to actually communicate that. If someone, maybe a partner, isn't acting the way that you need them to act, or if they're not a good match for you, it's important for you to actually communicate that with them. And if that means this isn't the right person for you and you guys aren't meant for each other, then perhaps that is a good thing, because when you say no to things that aren't good enough, you're sending out the vibrations that you have expanded as a person and that you're growing as a person. And energetically, you're looking for a partner who will match that energy. And it's the same thing when it comes to your career and your finances. When you realize that certain things aren't good enough for you, when you realize that certain jobs aren't good enough for you, when you realize that you deserve the nicer things in life, and you send out that message energetically by doing little things to treat yourself, that is exactly what you're going to get back. You're going to get back more because you're actually asking for more. And I see this so much in career from my last job. I kind of knew everyone's salary, and I kind of knew when anyone was asking for a raise, and I knew like what the most someone would make in that position would be, and what like the lowest amount someone would make in that position was. And to be completely honest, most of it had to do with what people thought they were worth versus people who were too afraid to ask for what they were worth. So many times I would see people in the exact same positions doing the exact same jobs with the exact same qualifications, or sometimes the person making less would even have better and more qualifications. But it's really just about negotiating, and what is negotiating other than just stating what you're worth and what you deserve and what you'll accept. Okay, that's it for today's short little video. I feel like I have so much more to say, but I don't want this video to be super long, so I'm gonna end the video here. If you found value in this, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this with someone who might also find it to be impactful, and I will see you next time. Bye!